Thanks for joining us for another edition of Weekend Winners, and we've got feature racing this Saturday night at Albion Park because the Trotters are going to take centre stage. Our feature events on Saturday night include the Jim McNeill Trotting Championship Final, plus, named in honour of a great champion of the past here in Queensland, the Overanova Trotters Marathon, and they're over the long journey, 3,157 metres. So it is going to be a marathon, but it's a good program, 10 in total, and just note a little bit earlier start time on Saturday night, kicking off at 5:15. But it's a good card, so we need to get the information to make sure that we're on the right track as far as finding a winner is concerned. We're going to catch up with Taleah McMullen and Angus Garrard, two of our young stars here in the state. Feature night of racing at Albion Park on Saturday night, and jumping straight into the hot seat to go through her book of drives is Taleah McMullen, one of our rising stars here in the state. Taleah, really appreciate the time.
No worries, Chris.
This first race, it's a ripper. It's loaded with depth, and your driver's Square Dealer. He's drawn two off the second row. What are your thoughts on this opener?
It's a pretty good race, and he was a bit average last week, so I think it probably looks to be a good fence race, and hopefully he goes a little bit better than last start.
Okay, just looking at that front line, they should fly in this race. There's a few here that can really hike along, so there should be a really good tempo.
Yeah, there's some nice quality horses in it, so it's a pretty good race.
Okay, so you're drawn two off the second row. You want to go straight to the pegs and just follow Nathan. He's the right person to follow right now.
Yeah, I think so. That's probably the best spot for him on the fence, I think, at this stage.
Okay, those two wins 2 and 3 starts ago, they were good. If, the breaks go his way, is he good enough to put this field away if he has luck?
Possibly. If he's 100%, I think probably don't have a great deal of confidence because last study was a bit disappointing and he's probably maybe looking for a bit of a break, but we'll see how we go this week.
Okay, let's go across to race 3, Shadow Minister. You've been driving this guy of late. Where's he at right now, Shadow Minister?
I don't think he's going too bad. He just has not had any luck with the draws, and this week is no exception to that. So he's going to need a lot of luck from there, but he's probably going better than his form reads.
Okay, so first reaction here, gate 6, likely to go back?
Probably go back and look for some luck. He needs it, but he can hit the line pretty good when he gets a nice fence run.
Do you prefer him at a mile or 21, or it doesn't really matter?
I think maybe the mile, but I don't think it really matters too much with him.
Okay, do you think this race is going to generate good speed?
I hope so. That would definitely help us out, so I hope there's a bit of speed on.
Okay, so he is going better than the numbers read, so he's a bit of a value hope there, Shadow Minister. Let's move now to the Overanova Trotters Marathon. The old warhorse for you, Red Castleton. He's won 2 of his last 3. Can he take the marathon?
He's probably not quite as good from the stands when he's got a chase, but it is over 3,000 metres, so that's on our side. And I'm really hoping there's some speed there. There's some nice trotters, and hopefully a few of them might go forward and put some pressure on. And if they're running early, I think he could be a chance, but he does need things to go his way. Okay,
agree or disagree here? There's no standout trotter in the state right now?
Probably agree. I think that they're all pretty classy trotters though, and when you take them to Sydney, even Victoria, like even Majestic Harry, he did a pretty good job down there. I think they're probably better than what people think, but there's probably no standout. I think it's really draw dependent, and we see that a lot, especially with Red, because he relies on a bit of luck, but when he gets it, he finds the line really good, and he is just as good as probably any other trotter up here, but yeah, it's a pretty even field.
Yeah, for sure. Now, just with this race, because I think it's the only race that we go over 3,157 metres, it's a little hard to prepare and predict how drivers are going to drive this race, so you can't be absolutely certain how this race will play out.
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny race. I think he won it a couple years ago, so I think he likes the marathon sort of races, but I enjoy it. Obviously, if you had them every week, it might get a little bit boring, but every now and again it's good. Yeah, you're not sure if people make a move. I'm hoping that there will be, especially with a couple new trotters coming up to Queensland. Hopefully maybe they might put a bit of speed on or something like that.
Okay, well, race 5 is going to be a good contest here. Looks just right. He was impressive scoring last time out. This is harder, but he's going well.
Yeah, he's racing good. If he had a good draw, I wouldn't think he'd be out of it, but he's got a bad draw and he is up in class, so he probably needs some luck, but he does have some ability.
Okay, what do you plan on doing at the start here with Looks Just Right?
Probably more one of those things, wait and see what happens. Yeah. He does have a bit of gate speed, and if you go straight back, you're probably not much chance at all, so maybe if there's a bit of a spot there to look to get in, that would be ideal.
Okay. Now, what about him with the mile or 21? This race is 2,138 metres. Does it bother him, the distance, or he's pretty versatile?
I think he's pretty versatile now. I probably used to think he was mainly more just a miler, but I think he's proved lately that he can do it over 21 as well.
There's no standout in this field, is it? It looks very open, that race.
Yeah, definitely. I think the qualifying races are pretty even at the moment as well.
Okay, let's go to race 8. This race for the mares and Goal Kicker. She's been very well placed because she's been able to win 2 of these Saturday night races and hasn't really taken a penalty. Here she is lining up on Saturday night against, you know, similar type opposition to what she's won against recently, and she's got gate 2, so doing a good job.
Yeah, I'd really like to see her win one of the first division mares races. Yeah, she's won a couple of the second division ones, so surely she's good enough to win one of the first divisions, and she's got a good draw, so hopefully might be able to find the fence again. Her gate speed is probably her best asset.
I was going to ask, is that the key here, try and lead again?
I think so, at least if we get to the fence then we have options, but she's been racing good in front, so hopefully we can find the fence.
I want to ask this question, you might think I'm crazy here. Does she get off the gate better when she's just drawn out just a little bit wider compared to when she's drawn in a little bit?
Probably, but probably most horses do. It's probably a bit easier to cross when you're a little bit wider, but I think, like, she does have pretty good gate speed. I think she should be able to find the fence.
Okay, but there's no reason why she can't win again.
Well, I don't think so. She's racing good, and that probably helps her confidence coming off of a win.
Okay, well, that's a good push there for Goal Kicker. Race 9, I'm keen on your thoughts here with What a Roller. It's a little bit of a sticky draw, but this guy is going really well.
He's actually going really good, a lot better than his form suggests. He's been hitting the line really nicely, so yeah, the draw definitely doesn't help. I think if he drew one and was sitting on them, then he's just as good as anything else in that field. But yeah, no, the draw makes it awkward, but I think we're probably going to have to press forward, at least have a little bit of a look, otherwise he's not much chance at all.
He can follow speed, this guy, can't he?
Yeah, he actually follows speed really good. I really like him. I think he's probably better when he's tucked away on the fence, but he does follow speed good. He's probably, I think, probably one of Dad's best horses.
Yeah, and he looks like he's got a really good stride, big long stride on him.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool horse. I like driving him.
Okay, well, there's a good push for him, and he's another one going a lot better than what the numbers read. So, out of your drives on Saturday night, which one are you most looking forward to?
I think Goal Kicker's probably the best chance. She's got a pretty good draw again and racing well.
Okay, race 8, number 2, Goal Kicker it is. Taleah, as always, really appreciate the time. We'll see you trackside.
No worries, thanks for having me.
Angus Garrard joins us now to go through his book of drives on Saturday night. He's got quite a few to get through. Angus, appreciate the time.
No worries, thanks Chris.
Let's start with race 1, number 7, Our Action Man. He's a last start winner, but this is a tough draw and a tough field.
Yeah, that's right. It's probably a step up in grade here. It's a really strong race and a lot of horses that are in really top form. So it's tough, but he is a horse with good ability if he puts his mind to it.
Okay, now tell me if I've got this right. You have driven this horse previously.
Yeah, I drove him, I think early on when Ricky Alchin first got him, and he brought him up here. Might have been 2 winters ago. And he ran a nice race from memory. He had a cosy trip there and found the line good behind some handy ones. So he's definitely not hopeless. He's got good ability.
Okay. Initial thoughts from the gate. Are you likely to drift back? Because as you said, there's several in-form horses here and horses that can run time. So over the mile, I'm tipping this ain't going to be for the faint-hearted.
Yeah, that's right. I don't really think we've got any other option from the draw. I think there's definitely a possibility that the first half could be really hot in this race, so you know, it could play into our hands if they go absolutely ridiculous, but from the draw, yeah, we're sort of resigned to going back.
Okay, but the faster the better that first half for you.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Race 2, your old mate's back in action here. He's had a freshen up. We haven't seen him since mid-December for memory now. Key Largo hasn't trialled and it's 2,138 metres. Is that ideal for him?
Probably not, but he'll definitely need the run being first up this year, so It's probably not a bad thing, really. We can look after him a bit this week and sort of look for a better draw and a better race in weeks to come.
Okay, so you're not planning on flying the arm here?
No, I wouldn't think so. You know, being first up for quite a while, and it's a pretty solid front line still, so I don't think we'd really want to kill him over the 2100 first up.
It's not a bad field, this one, is it?
Yeah, that's right. It's pretty even, I think.
All right. Well, speaking with Mark Darks, you stick with him in race number 3 because you're going to drive Argyle. Now, he was first up. He looks like he's a talented type. How did you assess that first up effort there last week?
To be honest, at first look, I probably thought he was a little plain, but in saying that, you know, he was first up and had to work hard to get to a spot, and they did rip a pretty nice last half, and he actually still found the line not too bad, really. So I think he'll take a lot of benefit out of that run, and hopefully we can see an even better version this week.
Okay, so he's second up and he goes to 2,138 metres, 3 off the second row. What are your options here?
Oh, look, we probably just got to play it by ear, and I'll have to have a bit more of an in-depth chat with the team to see what they think, but it's probably a good opportunity to drive him off cover. From memory, both his runs up here have been pretty hard, so I think it's probably a good opportunity to drive him off cover and use a bit of speed. Okay,
do you think he will be better or appreciate the extra trip on the weekend?
Yeah, I do think so. I think the 2100 will definitely suit him.
Okay, well that's Argyle in race 3. Let's go to race 4, and this is our Overanova Trotters Marathon, Indefensible. Now he's had the 2 runs back this campaign. His form at the end of last year was excellent. What have you made of the 2 runs this prep?
It was pretty disappointing, to be honest, Chris. He's probably just had something going on, and I know the team have been working on a few little niggles behind the scenes. So hopefully they're sort of all under control now, and he's back in the right direction again.
Okay, now he's a good beginner normally. What about the trip? 3,157 metres. Can he run it?
Yeah, I think he can, Chris. If he's up to his best, I don't think that's a worry. It's probably just a case of if he sort of turns up 100%, then I think he's right in it. If he's still a little bit off, it's probably quite hard.
Okay, well that's Indefensible there in race 4, the marathon. Let's go across now to race 6, the Jim McNeill Trotting Championship final. Set Me Free. Ran a very good race in the heat 2 starts ago. Was she disappointing on Tuesday?
On face value, she probably was a little bit, Chris, but when you go back and look at the splits, I think she ran a 40.8 lead time or something off 40 metres. So when you sort of take that into consideration, she sort of did work really hard early and sort of found ourselves in a tough spot where we were sort of committed to have a little look and worked pretty hard, and they never really backed off, never really gave us a chance to sort of swell up on a helmet and travel again. So I thought our run was actually okay, but I mean, this is a pretty big step up in grade, and stepping up in trip, so it's probably a little hard. We just sort of need the right run and a bit of luck.
Okay, the start's going to be crucial here, but could she be a chance of getting across, given that, you know, those to your inside aren't 100% foolproof? Is there a chance that she might be able to just ping and lead here early?
Yeah, I think so. Her last 2 runs have probably been the best she's ever stepped, and as I said, her lead time was phenomenal the other day, so hopefully if she steps like that again, we can at least get ourselves to a nice cosy spot early.
It's a good point you raise about the distance of this race, because the heats have been run over 2,100. Now we're stepping up to the 26. There could be quite a few here susceptible to that extra trip.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it really makes the front markers sort of have to think about how much they work. You know, the back markers are going to come right into it over that extra trip.
Righto. Race 9, Classy Washington. He finally lands a draw this prep. That must have been good news for you earlier in the week when fields were released. Yeah,
for sure. It's been a long time since we've had a nice draw, so it's definitely good to see that come out in the fields on Monday. So, you know, hopefully we can use that. I think he's been racing well.
Yeah, he's flying. The runs have been awesome off those really awkward draws. So here he is, drawn in gate 2. It's a mile, and he's got early speed. Do you plan on having a shot for the front?
Yeah, I think we've got to have a look. We've sort of got to try and use the draw a bit. So in saying that, I don't think it's the end of the world if we don't lead, but you know, in front out of trouble, I'd be more than happy.
Yeah. You haven't been disappointed by his efforts in the last couple of starts?
No, not at all. He's raced really well, you know. He's had no luck with draws and no luck in running, really. And he's still been dropping sort of super sectionals, so we're really happy with him. We just probably needs a bit of confidence again, so hopefully this looks a good chance.
Yeah, and this looks a lot easier too compared to those last couple of starts.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, well, good chance there with Classy Washington. And in the last, race 10, here's a good drive, high voltage. No doubt you would have preferred a front row draw with him, but he was able to score last week and he looked good winning.
Yeah, that's right. He looks like he's getting right back to his best, and just looking at him in the stables last week, he's sort of building right up and starting to really look like he did sort of going into that Breeders' Challenge heat last year where he raced really well. So, you know, front line's ideal for him, but in saying that, it's not the end of the world. He's sort of starting to be a bit more tractable, so if they run the race to suit, he's definitely good enough.
There's no clear choice in this field. It looks very even on paper.
Yeah, I agree, Chris. You know, our guy's in good form, so hopefully we just sort of need a little bit of tempo and can be coming off cover at the right time, and I think he can be right in it.
The great unknown, do you think this race will generate tempo?
Oh, I think so. It'll either be one way or the other, you know.
Yeah.
It'll either be really steady and make it real tough for anything back in the field, or they'll sort of go bananas and we're right in it.
Okay, well, we'll wait and see. That's the last there on Saturday night. What's the pick of your drives?
I think Classy Washington, you know, he comes up with a good draw for the first time in a long time, and I think he's racing well enough to score.
Awesome. Big circle around him. Race 9, number 2, Classy Washington. Angus, as always, really appreciate the time. We'll see you trackside.
Thanks, Chris.
As always, a big thanks to both Taleah and Angus giving up their time and insights, and we wish them the very best of luck there on Saturday night. Hopefully plenty of winners for both. As I said, 10 races starting at 5:15. All in all, it's a really well-balanced program. But if we're looking for a good gamble on the card, I think race 3, number 1, Animado. And yep, you guessed it, it's that man again, Nathan Dawson. What a week it's been for Nathan. 5 on Tuesday, his first fiver, a quartet there on Wednesday night, and the winners just keep coming. He is a runaway leader in the National Premiership. So Dawson the Horseman, awesome Dawson, Nathan the Greatman, call him what you like, but we're putting our eggs in his basket there. Race 3, number 1, Animado. Remember, if you are gambling this weekend, please do so responsibly. We'll see you trackside for a big 10-race program with the Trotters taking centre stage.